Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm going to be filming an advice video for you guys, and the topic that I'm going to be talking about is how to not only survive but also succeed during your junior year of high school. So the reason I chose this topic as my first advice video is because your junior year of high school is notorious for being a pain in the you-know-where, and I feel like a bunch of freshmen and sophomores are super intimidated just by hearing the words junior year. I know that I was when I was younger in high school, and I figured that since I just finished my junior year of high school and I am now a rising senior, I do have a little bit of knowledge about what to do and what not to do during your junior year, and also I'm going to be talking about a little bit before as well. So I came up with a little list here on my phone, and I'm just going to be going through the topics. I have quite a few, so just bear with me, but I think they're all pretty important, so let's just get started. So the first thing that I really want to emphasize to you guys is that it's true that a lot of people are super intimidated when they hear the words junior year, because everybody says that it's a really tough year, it's a really important year, and it can just be really stressful and crazy. But I think you guys really should know that junior year is only what you make it. And by that I mean that junior year could be a super easy year for you if you wanted it to be. So let's say you slack off in your classes, or you're only taking super easy classes, or you put off your standardized testing for college until senior year, which I really do not recommend. If you choose to take that route with your junior year of high school, you could definitely have a very relaxed, easy year, but I personally would not recommend it, especially if you are planning on applying to colleges your senior fall, because junior year is super important, basically because of college. Okay, so I'm going to try and kind of go in somewhat of a chronological order, starting with kind of the summer before your junior year of high school, just like planning things out. And then also one thing I wanted to talk about was before you get into your junior year of high school, before you start that school year, you really want to have developed your own personal study skills and already be informed about what works for you when it comes to studying for tests, writing papers, all that stuff. Because if you have that all figured out before your junior year of high school, you can just kind of apply those methods or whatever during the school year. You don't have to try different things to see what works for you to succeed. So yeah, that's just one less thing to worry about during junior year, where you have a lot of hectic stuff going on, is like study habits and stuff. So if you have that all figured out like your first 2 years of high school, then I think that should be setting you up really good for junior year as far as study habits go. So the next thing I want to talk about is the summer before your junior year. I would start thinking about which standardized tests you guys are going to take. I'm sure most of you know, for colleges in the US at least, I'm pretty sure most colleges, like a vast majority, accept either the SAT or the ACT. Personally, for my school, we took the practice versions of both the ACT and the SAT during sophomore year, so we kind of got a taste of both of the tests. And I think a really good thing about that, at least for me, was I got my test back from both of them, the PSAT and the practice ACT, and my college counselor had told me this like before we got our scores back and stuff, just to prepare you. So basically she said that if you get your practice versions of the ACT and SAT scores back, and there's a big difference between the scores, like you did significantly better on one test than the other, then that makes the choice pretty clear for you about which standardized test you're going to take. So personally for me, I got my scores back and I did way like a lot better on the PSAT than the practice ACT. So that was really nice for me, because I figured out that I'm definitely an SAT person, and I knew that going into my junior year, I wouldn't have to deal with the ACT at all. I was just going to sign up for SAT testing. So that was very nice to know, because I know that some people in their junior year, while they're doing all their standardized testing, they're taking both the SAT and the ACT, which is a whole lot of standardized testing, and just, it can be kind of overwhelming. So if you kind of figure out which test is more suited to you, that can be really nice, because it'll save you some time during your junior year. So kind of going along with the standardized testing part of this video, one little piece of advice I have for you guys is a lot of like experts and a lot of like college people who are very familiar with like the SAT and like all that standardized testing stuff, they really believe that if a student has studied the same amount each time before he or she goes in for standardized testing, your score basically rounds out after about the third time. So basically what I mean by that is that for the majority of people, their scores stop improving after the third time they take it. Personally, for me, this was very, very true. So yeah, personally, from my own experience, I would recommend studying, of course, before you go in for your first time. And then I personally wouldn't take the SAT, like if I were doing this over again, I wouldn't take it more than 3 times. Also, one other thing about the SAT or whatever standardized testing you're doing, I would so recommend studying over the summer before your junior year. I personally did a like super intensive the month before school started in the fall of junior year SAT prep class, which I personally think was very, very helpful, considering the first time that I took the SAT was my highest score because I was just like fresh off the SAT prep class. So yeah, I think that was super helpful. I would definitely recommend it to you guys, because actually even doing better than what I did, which I waited until December to take it, which I really should have taken it in October because that would have been closer to when I had my classes, but I personally would recommend taking or doing your preparation work for the standardized testing this summer before your junior year, because during your junior year the work can really pile up and you do not want to be having to study for the SAT and doing all these like practice packets on top of all the homework that you already have from all of your classes. So I would say definitely during the summer where you don't really have much to do academics wise, I would recommend doing your standardized testing preparation, because that's a really good use of your time and you really won't have to worry about it during the actual school year. You'll just be like, oh, I'm so prepared from over the summer. I'm only like a month removed from all of my preparation work, and of course you can continue your preparation into the school year, but like to a lesser degree if you have a ton of work. So I think that could be super helpful. Alright, moving on to actually during your junior year of high school. So the first thing that I'm going to say is very important. So if you guys are rising juniors or maybe even younger, just keep this in the back of your mind. At the end of your junior year, your college counselor is going to ask you to ask 2 of your teachers to write you college recommendation letters. Yay! Just kidding, I don't know why I did that. So yeah, college recs. Most schools, I think, most colleges recommend 2. At least that's what I had to do. So I don't know if you guys are gonna know what's coming here, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, develop good relationships with your junior year teachers, because at least at my school, we were only allowed to ask teachers that had taught us during junior year, because I guess they think that colleges want to hear from someone that taught you recently and someone that taught you during like a very important year of your high school curriculum. So yeah, this is going to sound kind of bad, but kind of suck up to your teachers if you need to, because that is honestly going to really pay off when you ask them to write your college recommendation letters. But let's be clear, I am not recommending for you guys to like bribe your teachers or anything like that, or be fake to them or anything. Just genuine. I'm just saying it's a really good idea to genuinely develop a good relationship with your teachers during junior year, and to just make sure that they like you, because that will pay off in the end. So I'm going to talk about grades really quick because I kind of need to leave soon, so I need to hurry this up a little bit. So grades, basically the overall thing with grades in junior year is you either want to keep them up if you have them up, or raise them if they were not so great to your freshman and sophomore years. Because when colleges are looking at your transcript, junior year is a big factor, probably the biggest like year that they are looking at, because a lot of colleges don't even look at freshman year, which might be a relief to some of you guys. It kind of was to me. They do look at sophomore year, but they would rather look at junior year to get a more kind of accurate understanding of the kind of student you are, because junior year is more, it's closer to the time when you're applying to colleges. So definitely, if you guys are going to improve somewhere in your grades, I would definitely recommend cracking down on your studying junior year, because those grades are arguably the most important on your transcript. Now I'm going to talk quickly about APs. So do not even worry about this if your guys' schools don't offer APs, because the main thing that I learned from like college tours this summer and just like learning about different schools and stuff, a lot of people stress out about APs and like, I have to take like 20 APs because it's gonna look really, really good to colleges, and just all this crazy stuff, and people are worried if they don't have any APs or they have very few APs, that's gonna look terrible. So the whole craze around APs definitely depends on your personal school. They just want to see that if your school does offer APs, that you took advantage of at least some of them. So yeah, they just really weigh APs based on the curriculum that is offered at your school, because obviously if your school doesn't offer APs, they can't expect you to have taken any. So also along with APs, I would say even if your school offers them, don't take like a bunch of them if you're not interested in these subjects, or if you're not very, very good at that subject in school. I would say only take ones that are like, could be somewhat related to a career that you want to pursue, or just, again, if you're very, very good at that subject and it's going to show in that AP class, you really want to highlight that to colleges, and taking an AP course could definitely do that. But at the same time, you could really overload yourself during junior year with a bunch of crazy classes and all this stuff, so definitely keep in mind, I guess, how much of an academic challenge you can take, because I know that a lot of people just like overload their junior year of high school academically and they really find themselves struggling, and I really would not recommend that, because colleges don't really want to see, even if you have like 10 APs on your transcript, they don't want to see you having struggled in that class, getting C's and D's and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to be very, very late, but I just wanted to say one last thing, is that if you guys are struggling through junior year, or you're just in a particularly bad place with all like crazy college stuff and all that, just remember that in a few months, in June or July or August or whenever your school gets out, junior year only lasts so long, and soon the pain and torture, I'm kidding, it will all be over pretty soon, and then usually senior year isn't too rough except for senior fall, so you have that to look forward to. So yeah, to wrap things up, junior year is definitely an important year. You definitely want to succeed academically, because if you want to get into college, that is very, very important. But at the same time, don't let it kind of ruin your life and make you miserable, because that's just not fun. I can't really give any advice on senior year because I have yet to experience it, but basically any other years, you guys can go ahead and request if you want to see them. And yeah, I guess this is the end of this video, and I will see you guys very soon in my next one.